There was a man who worked as a clerk in a small company. He always used to go to work late. He had been warned by his manager several times not to come late, but he still went late to work. The manager was fed up and could not withstand this. And so one day, when he came late, he abused the clerk as useless in front of the whole staff. The clerk started crying and went silently without speaking any words to his cabin and continued his work. The next day, the clerk did not show up. The manager was very angry because the clerk did not even apply for a leave. He decided to suspend the clerk, so he typed a suspension letter. On that day evening, the manager went to the clerk's house to give suspension letter. When the manager arrived at the clerk's house, the door was already open. So the manager walked in. As soon as the clerk saw the manager, he was anxious and he didn't know what to do. He asked the manager to be seated and then went into the kitchen to bring something to drink or eat. Meanwhile, the manager woke up from his seat and started looking around. And in one room, he found an old woman who was lying on the bed, whose body is completely paralyzed and cannot move. The old lady can only see. He came back to his seat and the clerk arrived with a glass of water. The manager asked, "Who is that woman in that room who is paralyzed?" The clerk stayed silent for a while and said, "She is my mother. She took great care of me when I was a child. My father is dead when I was only 5 years old. Since then, she did all kinds of menial work to fulfill my needs. She worked very hard to bring me up and to give me some good education. And now she was paralyzed because she did not care about her health earlier. And there is no one to take care of her. And I am the only one who is responsible for her. And it's a condition of my mother why I come to office late every day. And that's the reason why I didn't come to office even today, because she has very bad health." The manager stayed silent for a while for his rude behavior in front of the whole staff. He didn't speak a word. And when the clerk asked the reason for his arrival, he spoke nothing and left. The next day, the clerk went to the office late as usually. The manager came out of his cabin and the clerk started shivering because of fear. The manager said sorry for his rude behavior on that day and for abusing him useless. And he also added that he can come little late to office. The clerk was very happy and tears started rolling out of his eyes because the manager understood him. In this story, the manager was able to understand two lessons for his life from clerk. One, never judge or mistreat someone without knowing their whole story. You need to give importance to people who are helpful in your growth. You need to remember these two lessons in your life always. Even in our human life, we judge or mistreat people so easily. We mistreat them based on their looks, based on their status. But it's not the right thing to do. Instead, we need to know the whole story of that person, then treat them correctly. Not only that, it's very important to take care of people who always took great care of you. It may be your friend, relationship, mom or dad or anyone. If they are working for your happiness, you need to give importance to them. Because when you care, the relationships becomes more beautiful and stronger. See you again.